I am now living a thunderclapping day-to-day eflugent existence of joy, sorrow, and some uncoinable form of emotive transition into the animal kingdom, bridging the two in tripartite, yet unison clarity of mind. Every next morning, the landlady passes my door, driving a self-contained herd of clairvoyant oxen from the everlasting purge down the festive corridor, her flat up palm of hand catching scraps of time and place from alternate visions of all that never came to pass. The all-knowing one lives across the whitewashed hall, surrounded by a circular assemblage of knowledge-sipping students from the over and underworld. It's all good, as they tell me here and abouts. It's all good. I live, they tell me, what is called by my esteemed colleagues a double life. By day, I'm a solitary, quiet, yet quiet philosopher of abstract vintage, who, so they tell me, knows at least by this time how to work all the right wires. By now, I'm one among the various and varied clientele at the watering hole down the competent stairs, out the door, and last of all down the long and curving street. Years later, I find my much older self living in a psychiatric unit of neo realistically managed property ownership and domination. 3 daily squares beside and between meals, snacks, and various agencies, and constantly gathering, else dispersing groups of hospital pajamas, otherwise tired clientele, soaking in the random visionary epitaphs of verbally employed hospital gyroclaptic lieutenants whom that the very stars of heaven, one by one, with his unperfunctory and academically attenuated observations of the well-adapted lifestyle of vintage ex-mental patients, as he or her returns to the outside world as more a new trimmed and expertly tailored butterfly, examining bit briefly his or her two-in-one fingernail as they wheel as we are and Wing Winnie Woho just outside their present empty silk trove cocoon, a mad moment heretofore, but nowhere, no mental hospitals to circumvent with curry comb and Q-tip fireplace logs all the same. As we might, you and I voyage among the lava-coated alleys, the fire escapes were within our trot with looping Larrys and likewise laurels. And yet we two, you and I and the other one nearby, believe the world to be a pressing suntan, more beauteous than hitherto. Let's go, Marianne, from the land of the infinite rainbow that finally annexed through a balcony of phony catacomb down below. And so the middle-aged black lady, dressed in long train flowing skirt of scarf, weave and varied textures, had one Friday night so long ago now read from poems of 45 in a generous anthology, as about 75 college students sat before her vestige of 5 rows of folding seats. Or was she another woman of antiquated becomings, a newfound pre-Christ mother, sister, brother, long remembered the matriarchal mother of muses, and second cousin, half sisterin of signpost ideals closer to the realization of truth archetypal freedom from any other and all forms of fetid and orthodox prohibitions? Ah, too vast to enumerate under ebbing and overcasting skies. She, her rich, lucid wealth of open breath, post-Whitmatic verse, with the many unique mirror images of her own hierarchical prototype. Alternate personas belong to each tribe of sticks to flame gathering peoples, very marginal, impressed, the coinage dividing, as it oftener than not sometimes do the still drifting continents from one another. And the 5 of us, 4 students from the poetics course, as well as Professor Longhorn, asked the strange woman if they might be able to find her sheltering a few or three. Uh, equinoxes that locks each one's front doorway, and the untitled song stirs deep within my soul. The labyrinths of time, ah, do weave sublime a simple prayer that ever told, the cyclic hymnal. Take me for a muser, verse terse thrown by window's glass that's intricate on the past pilgrim treads. I'm tailor made from the tree branch shades mixed cups, and upon my homeward road my journey's journal troves rise up from rivers old, older than the womb that bore the earth and soul alike as well. The unclimbed stair does feed its steepled bells to the night, where everyone some day'll see things right. The idols of the past rise from sleep. Pause the worried clouds above to weep. My signature and same lights a midnight flame. I know the half-stone land from whence we came to coin the curse laid waste. So once we came to coin the curse laid waste, okay, well, it's not, hold on. Coin the curse laid waste. The curse, where am I now? I know, where this cold, can't shake it. I know the hot stone land from whence we came to coin the curse laid waste. Every mariner glass that works with plough or farmstead earth. There's nothing for it now but mock stone girth, prosed wilder than some who would want for restitution's blazing drum. And that same springtide neo-post-structural prenuptial luster hygienic geosphericality therewith was passing by my very own town, suburb, and city, wondering self a religious awakening. One day, as I sat along a bridge that crossing an honor-bound society's woodlit stream, became to my blistering soul a sacred place of uncoinpressible refuge from all that life assembled, much too ugly to transcribe across these word-thirsty pages. And then there were three long-robed homeland trekking poets who presently searching across and through a landscape of woodlands, occasional turfs of pendulum-waving weeded greens, wide open fields of pasture land and rolling farmland sown with seeds whose office was indeed particular to the regional climate there withal secularized. Industries, inclement ideologies foretold what in all Christ's arrival from heights above spoke, as if wild cactus fruitions met eye to eye the eternal wrought ebbing originations, brought in their wake to humanity's interiormost lights a lesser than ill-kept aridity of prayer. Briefly after the hilltopping crucifixion struck aflame with unwanted brimstone, the braille-red sky filled to the brim overflowing, cataclysmic brewing ice flame and fortune-wanting twilight pitch, anchored high above 3 or 4 dice-rolling Roman king heralds of crest-climbing ranks, and entwining serpents twice and thrice poled and out of eyes wild-card pretense posing. Spoken word oracle, naught before the rising tidal threaded land's end, above which did hover better than else might linger hawks, eagles, and sparrows circling over the rock helmeted cave, where with traversed in transient communication with a myriad of angelic beings, not flame nor bergs of ice, but in the lights divinating timeless affinities of vast cornucopias, spilling across the thriftless needle yarns, yoked and easily carried across time's own articulations, yet stiffly bladed before windows and chess game applicated and where and toward time signatures bringing noon of day to 3 and 6 to 9 and straight up midnight by clockwise Rooks time signatures post-structurally trimmed of brass, nickel, steel, and iron else or signpost highways crisscrossing and outward dispersing. Although the philosopher's rock was soon to be rolled from the empty cave, wherewith he, until the very insane previous noon of day, slept heavier than weightless metallurgics might have tumbled up and downward. The apostle Thomas, though, was the only one of the two absent from the presence of the gathered ten, who shook to the inner core of their being by their returned presence of their Creator, Father, Son, Soul Searcher, and at last the first of these, human article teacher, was neither present nor brought into the thunder-timbered assembly circling around in deep well-stone listening. He was archetypal to the one who needs to see through his own eyes what is not by himself believed. And was it reality, illusion, or the two coexisting as one and the same, with the outside worlds and indefinite and various terrains, seeming as if to be sometimes rustic, other times undefinable, and still other times infinitely altruistic avenues of Congress complexities concerning abstract realisms, and where within the seeming and strangely unthematic posture of diverging and as well intellect converging matrix of monotheistic becomings was found there within a trek of introspectively sparse terrains, the composition of which was so tenuous as to evade any and all primal architectonic, availing what might be coined layered or as well in same labyrinthine. This elusive conjecture bridging the real with the relative illusions, reality, and wound, as it were a city of towering spires, interconnecting cathedralesques, and last and finally predicate overturned first of these was this particular admixture between the two aforementioned tentative states of transubstantially vain matterform worldscapes. But built, as some explorers had afterward postulated in extensive journal recollections, on a precipice of jutting rock formations. This strange world of balancing the non-existent literal with the partially existent temporal predicates referring back to the subjective objective person place in inanimate matter was, at best, conjectural. At its least, it might have been an assault upon the invulnerable quest for a newer definition of the quintessential itself. Under lock and key of quietude, searching for a higher plateau of self-surrendering silence, the question of the split between what, according to the endgame's fleeting ritual, and the unity of the percussion with the cyclic and orbiting bass relief structures, was, as always, a reconfiguring prototype, fading as by the setting sun behind a grove of windswept cypress. And of a sudden, one day's earliest light, a newer earth, the geosphere, awoke the self-searching hours there within, in nature and tonality. The flame of livid width and breadth set potential leagues of time signatures themselves stridently ablaze. The penultimate quest of humanity at all, at this conjectural context, became visible to the quintessential human personage. As was known to the heart, but not the circuit of veins around it, this was, in essence, passion, love, mercy, and kindness. The ages of the Romantic, Rhodian, Edwardian, Renaissance, and the last and final of these time-spanning human pursuits of the interchangeable characteristics thereof was the pre and post structural evolving from Joyce and all, nine and 99, untold, undescribed theologians, and Beckett, and all else, Proust, and along the line from the least descriptive, physically descriptive, the thickest of physical scripts. And we have to stop about now and then proceed to this one. It was more and as much, well, less than difficult most nights to hear from a quiet distance, labyrinthine circular miles. The sound of my own approaching steps, wrapped as they might have been in those hours been in a shroud of ceremonial and orthodoxy, and nearing commerce with the shimmering leaves of the pastured horses. It was just as well as I had known my own self other than to be, as a countryside theologian, among the decanted cypress lots and sites were, or as I would be unbaptismal by and through and with, therewith.